Hi everybody, welcome back. My name is Natasha and I am the program manager at Astute Living Care. We specialize in providing supports for participants on the NDIS that have a psychosocial disability. So that's them having that diagnosed mental illness. So today I really wanted to have a talk about how do we support someone that has got high anxiety levels and they are in that moment having a panic attack. So they are hyperventilating, they're struggling to breathe, and they can't self-regulate themselves. So as a support coordinator, you might go in to see your participant, you need them to sign documents or you need to have a meeting about them choosing a service provider and you find them having a panic attack. Or even as a mental health support worker, what do you do in that scenario? So the first thing that I would recommend doing, and before I go into it, I need to just explain a little bit about what's actually happening when someone's having a panic attack. So when someone's having a panic attack, they're having a physiological reaction to, it might be thoughts, it might be a trigger that they've had, and basically their body has gone into that fight or flight mode. And when your body goes into a fight or flight mode, it's survival. So you're just wanting to survive. And because you're wanting to survive, your brain is focused on just survival. So it's not appropriate in that moment to try and do anything that will be complex with the participant. It's not appropriate to tell them to calm down because there's that saying that never in the history of anyone telling someone to calm down has anyone ever calmed down. So what can you actually do in that process? Okay, so the first thing I recommend doing is supporting them to self-regulate, because when you have an anxiety attack or a panic attack, you're struggling to self-regulate. So how can you support a participant to self-regulate? The first thing is doing what we call grounding exercises. So grounding exercises are basically exercises that are meant to bring the participant down from that high level and bring them down to a more normal level. The very first thing, if they're hyperventilating, is that they're not going to be getting enough oxygen to their brain. So before we do anything else, we need to focus on that. So we need to get the participants doing some breathing exercises to bring that breath back to a normal rhythm. So what I recommend is getting them to breathe in, count 1, 2, 3, then breathe out again. So you need to guide them on this, and you need to be a bit firm, because in that regard, they might be struggling to even focus on what you're saying. So your voice has to be reassuring, has to be empathetic, but it also needs to be firm so you can bring them back to the moment. So that's where you would encourage them to do those breathing exercises. So 1, 2, 3, hold it, then breathe out. 1, 2, 3, hold it, then breathe out. So do that until you can see that their breathing is getting back to a normal rhythm. Once you've got their breathing under control, the next thing to do is, when you're hyperventilating, your body tenses up. And your muscles, they become very tense. So another exercise I like to do is called progressive muscle relaxation. And that basically means that you start, so you start from the head to relax everything. So you might get them to clench their jaw and count to 10 or 15 seconds, then release. Then you get them to clench, so all the muscles. So they might, for example, you might get them to clench their shoulders, and then after 10 seconds they release. So that action of releasing is releasing that tension that has built up in the muscle. And again, this really helps to self-regulate the body. And then finally, a distraction technique. So this is called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. So this is looking at all the senses. So you might say to them, okay, focus on me. Can you tell me 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can smell, two things, 2 things that you can taste, And then, so you go through all the senses in that distraction. So it's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. And you're basically going through all the senses. And that's how you would generally get a participant to calm down from having a panic attack or an anxiety attack. Like I said, the things that are not helpful is to try to ask complex questions, trying to ask what's wrong, trying to tell them they need to calm down. That's not going to help the situation, but going through those exercises helps. And then once they have calmed down and you've given them maybe a glass of water, then you can have a chat about what happened, what triggered the anxiety attack, and then maybe next time you can come up with a plan or a safety plan about how to support them in that moment. So I hope this has been really helpful. Thank you for watching. And if you do want to get more tips, just subscribe to our channel and we will be uploading more videos.